Hello, Kendall. Can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, there you are. What's going on, Kendall?
How's it going?
It's good, man. Thanks for joining me today, brother. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, for sure. Thanks for having us.
Man, have you ever done podcasts or any type of long form interview before?
Mm-mm.
Never. So I'm your first one.
Yes, this is it.
Oh man, you got a lot of pressure.
I, I believe it. How long does this usually run?
Um, I book for an hour, but they never really go that long. Honestly, sometimes they go over. But I've really only got about
Cool.
four. I've really only got about 40ish minutes today. If you're cool with that,
Cool.
maybe a little
Yeah,
shorter.
yeah. Yeah, no problem.
Cool, man. So Kendall Hunt is. I'm here with Kendall Hunt right now. On the podcast. So Kendall, man, your band Kendall Hunt and the Shooters. Is that your original title or is it just the Shooters?
It's actually Kendall Hunt and the Shooters. So for me, I've always been a rock guy, like Foo Fighters and um, man, the Toadies, just all rock. And I noticed when I was starting a country thing, everybody used their first name and then the band name. It's not like Weezer and you're just a part of it. It's the name and then a band. So went ahead and did my name and thought the Shooters was pretty cool. So we went with that.
Man, talking about, and I was listening to your song Blacked Out. I'm going to play it here in a few
Yeah.
minutes. And I don't know, I'm a big rock fan. I don't consider Nickelback to be the worst band ever created. Same thing with Creed. But I'm going to
Yeah.
say this
I don't either.
the most respectful way possible. This song Blacked Out, you kind of have that Seether type of voice for this song. Like it kind of sounds like
Oh,
you know
yeah.
that's when I'm broken and lonesome. That song
Yes.
like that. That is what it sounds like to me. And I mean it at the most out respect.
Yep. I will take that any day. I love Seether. I love that sound. Let me get some light in here. I love that. So that's awesome feedback for me.
So, growing up, take me back a little bit. And I don't want to spend too much time on either topic because you probably are
Mm.
asked a lot of different things doing type of interviews. Uh, Take me back, listening to rock music, classic rock. What made you go the country route? That's kind of like an
Yeah.
odd U turn to take.
Oh man, that's a really good question. I grew up in a really small town, White Deer, Texas, and you're talking like 1,000 people in the whole town, and a third of those is probably dogs. I mean, it is just it's so small, and everybody was farming and ranching, so everyone around me listened to country music, and my older brother was kind of a rebellion when it came to music. He listened to Green Day, Blink 182, Stone Temple Pilots. He was like one of the few in this town that didn't listen to country. And so I just grew up hating country. It's like, no way, I'm going to be different. I'm not listening to Garth Brooks and George Strait every day. And I had a buddy that introduced me to Cross Canadian Ragweed. I don't know if you've heard of those guys, but
Yes, absolutely.
they they kind of tie in that beautiful rock, but it's not heavy distortion, but it is rock. And so my introduction was in high school going, well, I guess country's not that bad if you can have some rock roots in it and you can have some overdrive guitars and some badass solos. And so it just it went like that. I started listening to Randy Rogers after that, Stony LaRue. So it just started getting a little deeper. And last year, I've been in rock bands my whole life, but last year something clicked, and it's like watching people dance and going to bars when you're playing that country music and you're playing some red dirt and Texas country stuff. The people's reaction is so different than going to a rock concert, and I fell in love with it. And so we started this band, and and just flew from there. But it all started when I didn't like country at all. And then I started getting taste of what country can be. And then what I bring to country is a little different. You know, as you've heard of Blacked Out, I have a whole catalog of songs that I've got to record, and they're not all as heavy as Blacked Out. Um, but that's the flavor I want to bring to it. I want to bring more of that rock edge, that Southern rock style, but still have that Texas accent like I do. And just, I feel like I fit there really well compared to going all in on rock, you know, 'cause I love that too, but it's hard to compete with Foo Fighters and Papa Roach and, you know, just all those guys. I love it. I don't think I fit there as much as I fit into the country scene.
You know, you mentioned Foo Fighters, and I kind of want to get your thoughts on this because I want to see if I felt the same way. You know, uh, Taylor Hawkins just passed away, which was the drummer
Bro.
for Foo Fighters. I
Yeah.
felt like I lost a member of my family. Like I know it's a band, but for me, people are like, music is just pastime. For me, no. For me, music is everything because it was
Yes.
there in the darkest days, in the greatest days. And it's like Foo Fighters to me was they should be and I think will be going down in history as one of the greatest bands to ever be created and to ever play because especially Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl's story
Yeah.
is just so damn amazing. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy that he was the drummer for a giant band Nirvana. They lost the lead singer. He became a lead singer of this
Oh man.
gigantic band and then lost the drummer. Like it's like a weird full circle realm for Dave Grohl. And I feel so sorry and so bad for the guy, you know?
I do too. I do too. That I was in a Foo Fighters cover band, bro. That's how much I love them. I mean,
Oh my
they're
god.
my they're my everything inspiration. And when my old drummer actually texted me that day that Taylor Hawkins passed, and I didn't know,
Right, right.
he texted me and was like, "Bro, I gotta call you." And I'm like, well, "Why?" You know?
Yeah.
And he sent me the article, and I felt the same way you did. My gut dropped, and all I could think about was them never playing again and how crappy that is. I've seen them about 4 times live, and you know they play for about 2.5 hours
They
straight.
play a long
And
time.
yes, and you're exhausted when you leave that concert, and to never potentially see that again was like it hurt. Still hurts. I just came back from Amarillo, Texas, where I used to live. I live in McKinney now, but
Okay.
on the way here, I probably listened to 3 of their albums completely. I mean, it sucks.
Yeah, the I don't know, you probably know this, but a lot of people know this, and this is the amazing thing about how Foo Fighters came about. And it was like Dave Grohl wanted to make music. And he didn't want to make music just titled Dave Grohl, so he just started recording these songs that he had written and playing all the instruments. And then he just creates this name and this demo tape titled Foo Fighters from a stupid alien book that he was reading.
Isn't that crazy?
And then they create this massive, probably one of the biggest bands in history today. Like in today's
Oh yeah,
terms of
absolutely.
bands, it's gigantic, enormous.
Yeah, absolutely. For him to do all the instruments on that first record, and because I grew up, you know, with an older brother that played guitar and drums, and so I've been playing guitar and drums since I was 14, and I always knew that Dave did that first album by himself, and I was just so blown away. But I grew up doing the same thing. When I wanted to record songs, I would play the drums first, then I'd play the guitar, toss in a bass, and you know, I sucked at all of it at the time, but it's like that's how you write songs, you know, that's how Dave does it, that's how you do it. Growing up, you know, you learn, oh, other people can share your ideas and collaborate. But I get why he did it. It's he wanted to come out with something. He didn't have anybody else to do it with that he wanted to toss in the project. So he just did it and made exactly what he wanted. And it's a really cool way to do things.
Yeah, it reminds me, Kendall, about kind of. bands in general, like Foo Fighters, had this certain way of doing things, and I bring this up a lot in the podcast. But Kiss is also one of those that they just took the industry and they just shaped it into what they wanted
Oh
the industry
gosh,
to
yeah.
be. Like I saw, I keep my listeners are always like, "We get it, you went and saw Kiss in concert," but I don't understand. I don't think people realize when you say you went and saw Kiss in concert, you didn't see a concert. You saw an art project come to
Yeah.
life. Like they have like because before, I am the weird type that doesn't want to be surprised by concerts, so I will watch a full concert on YouTube or wherever, so I know what's going on.
That is unique.
I, but when I realized that, I realized something that was very interesting. They have a script that they go by, and not for saying it's a script bad, but like Paul will say the same thing to Gene. Gene will say the same thing to
Mm.
Tommy Thayer, and it's like right on cue. They're not gonna miss a spot. It's this art show that they want to show you just in music, concert, live form. It's like a Broadway play for
There it
music.
is. That that's what I was gonna say. Do you appreciate that?
150%. I mean it's
Cool.
because and I think they're doing it the right way. Not saying that there's a right way or a wrong way, but how they're doing it is just so different than how everyone else is doing it. Um, like Paul Stanley was mentioning in an interview that he wants the Kiss legacy to live on. He wants other people to be underneath the mask, which
Wow.
is kind of a great thing because the music can live on. There could be new Kiss music, and you're not going to realize this is a different type of Kiss. If they're you know what I mean? Like it's this kind of nostalgia thing that's like, wow, it's amazing to me how playing music in general, but how when you play music and you make it this theatrical concert and
Yep.
you give people, I mean, shit, I paid $50 for my ticket. It wasn't like I was breaking the
Oh yeah.
bank, but it was also like $50. You know, you could use that for this. But I think the concert is worth way the hell more than that because it's an opportunity like seeing Garth Brooks, an opportunity you will only probably only get once or twice in your lifetime.
Right. Garth Brooks. So go to the Kiss thing. Their show. I've never seen them, but I've watched them for years. And what I love about them is the corporate aspect of their band. They want, like what you said, they're there to entertain you, and they know exactly what their show is worth. Like if they need to add more fire because there's more people, they're going to do it. They're going to create a production for you. It is pure entertainment, and they write songs to kick people in the face. Like it's all scripted in a way on the Kiss route. There's parts of it that I love, like Garth Brooks. He is a Kiss also, in the aspect of they're entertainers, and that's it.
Yeah.
Garth doesn't write all of his songs. He picks the songs that are just monumentous, and it allows him to put on the best shows of all time. But they're all the same. Every time he does the show, it's the same, spectacular Garth Brooks show. And in Lubbock, he played there 5 nights in a row because people kept selling out the tickets. So he did the same show 5 nights in a row. You don't get that necessarily with the Foo Fighters. Dave might talk about something ridiculous and run around the stage, and he's not going to do that same thing the next night at all. And I like that. I think for me, that's my favorite. And when I play a live show, I was born to believe that you have to entertain, and I don't just stand there. I can't do it. Like I have to. There's parts of the songs I run out in the crowd and solo or get people to start singing with us because it's part of entertainment. And I don't want people to say, "Oh, he does that every time." It's like I'll do something else. I'll go grab somebody from the audience and have them finish singing a song so I can go sit down, play guitar, and watch them sing. Like, but I learned that from watching Foo Fighters. I learned that from watching Garth Brooks. Their live shows are like nothing else. I just don't want mine scripted. I don't want to plan it. I like to let what's happening that day drive it. But all of those situations, they're all doing it at the elite in the industries. You're talking about the best shows of all time, and I want to do something like that. I want to get close to it. Get people excited to come to the shooter show, man.
But isn't that what makes music so special? Is you can have a script or you don't have to have a script.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, it's what makes it so special. Like, you want to go see George Strait. You know damn well George Strait is probably going to move 20 feet in his whole concert. He's going to stand there,
yeah,
play guitar, and sing. Otherwise, you're going to
yeah.
have Garth Brooks jumping 20 feet off the rafters, swinging on a vine,
Yes.
doing Tarzan, banging his chest. You know you're going to get that, but that's what makes music so damn special in my book. Like,
Yeah.
it just makes it,
Hell yeah.
like, and it's an amazing thing for people. People always, they don't irritate me, but it's just, I don't understand their mindset when they go, music is just something that just plays in the background. I
Oh
want.
my gosh.
I wish Kendall that I could have that mindset for 24 hours where I don't have to have something going on because I want to know what that's like. I want to know what it's like to, not have these weird thoughts in your head. You're having to drown it out with podcasts or music or whatever. I want to know what that's like to experience that. But then again, I'm like, damn, music is just so inspirational in different ways that it's like I don't know if I could even handle that for 30 minutes.
So here's something really, some people might like it, some people don't, but what you said of where it's just sitting in the background type of noise, I I started off playing shows, and of course you play shows in small venues, restaurants. They love having a guitar player sit in the corner of the room, playing these nice easy breezy songs, and you're on the acoustic, and people are eating their chicken fried steak in front of you. I hate it. I hate that. I don't want to be your background music while you're eating your dinner. I want you to come specifically because you want to see live loud music. So and a lot of guys do. They play in restaurants, and they play in those kind of background music settings, and that's not my favorite thing to do. I don't want to do it. It's a different avenue, right? There's a script and there's not a script. I want people to listen to my music, and I want people to get involved with my music. And I am there just to have that live, loud, entertaining show. If you tell me to turn down more than once, it's like my vibe is ruined. I want to be as loud and heavy as I possibly can. But not everybody's like that. But I definitely want to be a big, loud, entertaining, fun show. And just eat dinner before you come to the show.
But that's also amazing about music is they have all these different types. Like you can sit in a restaurant and listen to Dave Matthews play. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you can listen to the Dave Matthews "I'll be." You know what I mean? You can have that, but you
Yeah.
can also have the "Still Ain't So." The screamo shit. You can have whatever you want, and it's so amazing that.
Yeah.
And I hate, and I don't want to get in this conversation. I get into this every podcast it seems, and I always get into one heated argument with somebody. But it's like I don't. That's why I don't understand why people complain so much about where music is headed in general. Like I don't like the way
Mm.
this sounds. I don't like the way this sounds. It doesn't have to sound that way. There's
Yeah.
different avenues. Like you know what I mean?
Yep. For sure. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. If you don't like the person, don't listen to it. There's
Yeah.
1,000 other dudes doing something really similar that you can like them more or less. You get into that, the whole controversy of the cancel culture right now, and it's like, who cares? Why do you care so much to cancel somebody? Just listen to somebody else.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm gonna play this real quick. This is Kendall Hunt and the Shooters, their new single, which is out now, called "Blacked Out." We're gonna do this. We're gonna talk about this for a little bit, Kendall.
Cool.
You know how I'll be blacked out, burned out, covered in sin, strung out, run down, let it begin.
So when I play that, kind of what goes through your mind as you're listening to it?
Yeah. Good question. I, there's funny ways to talk about songs. The way I wrote the song and the lyrics, might not be how you feel them or you hear them. Um, so I guess my perspective on the song, it's supposed to be kind of not a feel good story. It's kind of like probably the Wetzel in real life. Uh, this blacked out song is about a guy that just, it's either alcohol or it could be anything, but when they drink or whatever your vice may be, it takes them over the edge every time, but they can't stop doing it. And so you're blacked out, you're burned out and covered in sin was the main line of that chorus. But you do it again every damn time, and whether you want to stop it or not, it's not the best thing for you, is what really the song's about. But somebody else might take it, in a different route, but that's how I intended it. So that's why it's hard and heavy. It's kind of a hard rock song in a way, and it's supposed to make you feel like that.
Have you ever written a song and you want it to go one direction, but then it always goes the other direction? Does that ever happen?
Yeah, it happened 2 weeks ago in the studio. I think the picture that is my Zoom background is from that session. It'll come out soon. But it is a country as country can get song. It's as country as I can ever get. And my goal was for it to not end up country like this. When we got to the studio, it was feeling one vibe. When we do practices, it was another vibe. We get to the studio, we're halfway through it. I look at the guys and it's like, this ain't gonna work, dude. Like, I don't like what I'm hearing. And the crappy thing is I wrote the damn song. And it's like we huddled up together. And I think in the background, depending how well you can see my background, there's a dude sitting on the couch. That's our producer. His name's Jared Flushy. He's a genius, man. And he's just so good at guitar, and he's so good at just telling me, like, bluntly, this is why this part sucks, or you guys need to change it here. And I trust him to death. So it's just like, okay, so he was walking us through another vibe of the song. He's like, you guys can do it this way and it'll get rid of that feeling that you have that you don't like. Well, I listened to him do all his thing, and he was talking to the band. He's like, okay, on this part, we're doing this. And I finally looked at him. I was like, no, that's not going to work either, man. I mean, so you're in the middle of a session that you're paying for, and everybody's taking their time out to record this thing, and I don't like any of it. And so we really did reshape this song to turn into, it's still a really Texas country style song, but it has a nice modern twist to it that didn't exist. It was almost going country western, and that's not the place I want to dance. And we brought it back, and it ended up great. It'll come out in a few weeks, but it happens all the time. Your brain hears one thing, but it's hard to get the sound out sometimes. Sometimes it's really easy. You can write a song in 45 minutes and you're like, holy hell, that's the best song I've ever written. I've been working on this last song that I was just talking about for over a year, and it still changed up to the very last minute that we finished recording.
I want to ask this real quick because it's going to lead to the next question. But quickly, how long have you been recording music and putting it out officially?
Yeah, goodness. So my older brother, 7 years older, he got me involved in the studio with him. I might have been 13, 14 years old, going to watch him. And then by the time I was 15, 16, I was playing guitar on his songs. And we'd sit there and write together. It's just something I've always loved doing. So, 14, 15 years old, I've been putting out songs in the studio and going to the studio. And I've just never done it in this country type scene. It's always rock stuff, hard rock stuff.
So you're no stranger to, okay, I know what's going to work and I know what's not going to work, because a lot of people that are newish into let's just be honest, a lot of new independent artists, if they've been recording 6 months, they've released a song or two, and the producer says, okay, that sounds good. Deep inside, they probably know it doesn't sound good, but they're not going to argue because, let's be honest, they're not professionals. They shouldn't
True.
act that way, because I think everybody should have a voice in what they want to put out, but they're not going to in a respectful
Yeah.
way that I do understand.
Yep.
So for you to say that just shows me that it's like, you know what? You could kick us out of this studio, but guess what? I know the sound we're supposed to portray. I know if it's going to
Yep.
sound good, and I know I'm not going to put out shit sounding music. You know, kind of. It reminds me of like when Lionel Richie, when he was recording "Can't Slow Down," he was like overtaking the actual producer and was like, "Look, this doesn't sound good. We need to get more background vocals in here." And then they got like Richard Marx, and they were just recording all this stuff, and he was the one that was like, "I had the final say so. It doesn't matter. You're the main producer. I have the final say so."
It's
And it's like,
awesome.
and it has to be an awesome feeling where you're like, where not where you can say that, but where you can say that in a presence where the
Hmm.
guy that you're saying it to is going to fully respect you and understand where you're coming from.
Right. It is a professionalism that you learn over time. It is not something that is natural to anybody, because you don't know what the hell you're doing. You know, when you're first doing any sort of recording or writing songs, to you it's great. You wrote the damn thing. Doesn't mean anybody else is going to listen to it. You know, that there's patterns and stuff that you don't always have to follow them, but things sell for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You always have to have a catchy, try to be catchy, in my opinion. I'm not saying sell out, and turn into Justin Bieber, but you should try to, if you're going to spend the money to record a song and have, a fantastic team behind you, then you should be trying to get something that sticks in somebody's head, and it, with us, Jared, I found him on Instagram, man. Like, he was a guitar player for like Co Wetzel and Giovanni and the Hired Guns, and I just noticed his Instagrams. He was listening to Limp Bizkit and Korn, and it's like, wait a second, you're a country guitar player. But I just kept listening. It's like, dude, this guy is right up my alley, and I'm we're paying good money for him to be involved. The last thing I want to do is not listen. And so the last session, I really listened and listened, but my gut was saying, dude, that ain't what you're wanting to hear. Like, I would rather not release the song, even after I paid for it. I'd rather just not listen. I'd rather not release it if it wasn't something that I thought I could pump out there and have my buddy right next to me and appreciate and hope he understood what I was trying to do. If it sucked and I didn't believe in it, I'm just not going to release the song.
Yeah, I like what you said. Just because Justin Bieber's doing it doesn't mean you have to, but you can, because it's kind of like no, but it's kind of, I understand, because it's kind of like jumping on the train. A lot of
Yeah.
successful people have jumped on the bandwagon, and they have
Oh
just
yeah.
they just taken that bandwagon that they jumped on, and they've switched it, and they've made it their own bandwagon. Now they have a fan base of that bandwagon they jumped on once. Now someone's going to
Yep.
get on the caboose of that, and they're going to control the caboose while that person's controlling the front. Just from
Yep.
jumping on and copying someone else, which, not copying as in plagiarism, but as if, okay, this guy's starting a podcast. I should start
Yeah.
a podcast, but listen to every other podcast that started. And here's where I need to do different to be successful. Same thing with the musician. If your
Right.
favorite's Eric Church, what's Eric Church doing? If you want to be on the Eric Church status or the Bon Jovi status, whatever status, see what they're doing, what they've
Mhm.
done in their career, and try to overdo
You're
them.
right.
Like
Yeah,
that's
you
gonna
have to.
that's gonna come up kind of cocky, but but it's the only way to say it.
I love that, because your best is going to be different from their best. And as long as you're trying to write catchy shit and trying to do like a badass guitar solo, I'm not Slash, but if I try to put a Slash type solo, it's going to be different, but it's that same level. You're trying to get the same feeling out of that solo. You can't copy him. You're not Slash, but you want that same feeling that solo gave to you. So I completely agree. You do have to try. You got to try to do your best. And if it's a song you like, try to get there. But I guarantee you're not going to end up there. It's going to be a whole new flavor and a whole new song.
Yeah, it's funny. What also amazes me about music is like, when you take, for example, like Fred Durst, you were talking about Limp Bizkit, Fred Durst
Mhm.
or Rob Zombie, how they took their success in music and they did it in a whole nother ball game and they did it successfully. Like Rob Zombie created all these movies. You know,
Oh, it's wild.
he did
Yeah.
the Halloween movies. Redid those, and those were actually the remakes were actually pretty decent. And then you got Fred
Mhm.
Durst, who was like in like Zoolander and was writing for comedy. It's crazy. You're like these mega rock stars, screamo people.
Yeah.
They are like overtaking the success, but it's like they know how. They may not know how to do it in the movie or wherever category they're going to next, but at least they know how to catapult to the next level.
They're sales guys, man. I mean, you don't have to always be a a, a scum type of, try to rob everybody when you're selling products, but salespeople, they're very successful because it's your music, it's your product. You know what you can do and do very well. And those guys, they'll take anything. I mean, look at Chad Kroger, man. That nobody, everybody loves Nickelback, but they also don't. But yet everybody would give anything to have the success of Nickelback. It's because Chad Kroger's a salesman. Anything he touches, he knows how to get it connected and make money off of it. So I get it. And you do have to sell your stuff. And no shame in that, man.
And I'm gonna say this right now: I don't think Nickelback, Chad Kroger, anybody in the band gives two shits if anybody hates them or not. I don't think they care because
Yeah.
let's be honest, they're not the best rock band. But damn, they're
No.
they're pretty damn they're close up there for me because from when I say that I mean that as in I grew up with their music when they were
Hmm.
when all the right reasons. I'll be honest, that's one of my favorite albums because my cousin
No.
would consistently listen to all the right reasons and would be like Animals and Photograph and if today was
It's
your
good.
last day, it's a great album. But then people consistently hate because it's the cool thing to do.
I guess so. I guess so. I'm a huge Creed fan. Um, Mark Tremonti, their guitar player, is one of the reasons I ever wanted to play guitar. I've been a Paul Reed Smith player for a long time because of him. And I wouldn't even care at the time if Paul Reed Smith guitars suck. I was gonna buy one because I thought he was a guitar god. And so I love Creed. I think, and people, they make fun of me for it all the time, but it's like bullshit. You don't go walking around singing higher or, some Creed song. You've sung it, you've hummed it.
Higher. Yeah.
Everybody wants to wear leather pants one day and look like Scott Stapp. Like, who wouldn't want to do that shit?
Me, I don't. I'm too fat to wear leather pants.
Doesn't mean you didn't want to. It might not look as cool.
Well, I kind of like not being chafed. So.
Okay, yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair.
Well, man, look. As we kind of wind down here, we've been going almost an hour on the podcast.
Oh shit. Okay.
So, what are some of your favorite? You know what? I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. I haven't done this in a long time on a podcast. I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
I'm going to. I've got a list of questions in my head that are kind of constant that I always ask, but it's kind of like a
Mhm.
shoot fire. I say it. You say the first thing that pops into your head.
Okay.
So, you're on a deserted island. For some reason, there's a jukebox. There's a CD player in a tree. There's a record player. For some reason, what's the one album you're gonna bring to listen to keep your time?
Color in the Shape, Foo Fighters.
Oh,
Their second
now,
album.
now let me ask you this. I do something called Battle of the Albums. I did I did Thriller versus Bad from Michael Jackson, and I'm working on the original Foo Fighters first album versus The Color and the Shape. What's the best out of those two? Foo Fighters, The Color of the Shape. Despite the history, leave the fact that Dave Grohl recorded the album by himself out of it. What's the better album?
It's easy. It's easy. It's Color in the Shape.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I have
That
said
one's
that,
easy.
and people will disagree with. They're like, no, the first Foo Fighters have more history. I don't give a shit about the history.
I don't.
What has the best
care
songs
either,
on
yeah.
it?
My Hero, Everlong, like 2 of the biggest rock songs today
Today.
on that one record, man. Like, get out of here. It's the best album ever. But yeah.
All right, you got one chance, one final chance. You get hit by a bus, and you've got 4
Mhm.
minutes to live. But for some reason, you can only sing a song. What's that one song you're gonna sing?
Oh shoot, man, that's tough. I know this. I'm trying to be really quick with my answer, okay? So the answer is cheesy as hell, but it's gonna be Wild as Her by Corey Kent. I don't know if you've heard that yet.
Mm-mm.
Morgan Wallen wrote this song, and Corey Kent, he's on fire right now. I think he's been around for a little bit, but this song came out a few weeks ago. You got to listen to it. It is fire, and if I like it, it's kind of rocky. You know, I don't really go for the super sappy stuff, and it would be the cheesiest way to die, but that's the song I'm going to sing.
What was it, Corey Kent? What now? I'm gonna write this down because I actually want to listen to it.
Wild as Her.
Okay, Wild as Her. Cool. Okay, I love me some
Yeah.
Morgan Wallen, bro.
You can message me, after you listen to it, but that's what I'm singing.
All right, we're bigger guys, Kendall. Let's not lie. We're
Mhm.
bigger guys, right?
Nope.
So I
Yep.
want to know, what's one food item that you have in your house at all times, or you can only, like, you can't have just one. You have to indulge in it.
Damn. Man, you're coming at me with fire right now. I would say, which is, again, agree with me or not, I've done it my whole freaking life. It's pepperoni hot pockets. It's not good for you, and honestly, they don't taste very good. But I can eat like 5 of those damn things.
You know, I have an argument with my one of my good friends all the time. You know, because he's Lao. He grew up in like an Asian background, so he's like used to eating rice. But I'm like, dude, I ate like a kid. I eat dinosaur shaped nuggets, French fries. Like I eat like I'm 4. But it's just
Oh god.
I grew up eating like that, so it's like it is junk, but it's not junk food. You know, it was like when you had a bowl of cereal, if you had like Rice Krispies or Corn Flakes, you pour a little bit of sugar because the cereal didn't have no sugar on it. Then at the end, there would be like a sugary syrup with the milk, and it would just be the nastiest stuff. And you're like, how did my parents let me eat that? That would be outlawed.
Dude, I don't know.
today.
You're still alive and you're doing well, so apparently it's not too bad.
I'm alive. I don't know if I'm doing well, but I'm. What do you believe in, aliens or ghosts?
No.
No.
Nope.
So
I know it. I'd like. Go ahead.
So are you not religious, or is it just the fact you just don't believe?
I am religious. I am
Okay.
religious, and this is where it gets weird. That's what I was about to tell you. I don't believe in ghosts and aliens, but yet I feel like I am religious, and there has to be something out there, and I think it gets confusing because where is the line of something very special and holy and that created us, but also there's weird creepy aliens that live in Mars, and there's ghosts that shut your doors all day. It's like, I draw the line there. I don't. I think movie aliens and movie ghosts absolutely no place in the world. I don't think. And then also people have spirits, right? They feel like, there's a spirit around them or they're watching them. It's like, I don't believe that, but yet I do believe. I am a religious guy, so I'm conflicted as well. But I guess my ultimate answer would be, I don't think there's aliens.
All right, look.
Told you, it's a gray area over here.
Well, man, look, we've been going almost an hour here, which is kind of cool because I feel like I could talk to you forever, Kendall. We just have this.
Oh hell yeah.
We just have this relationship where, like, I had someone on the other day, and they were not talkative at all, and it was just so hard. It's so hard to keep a conversation going. But for the 40 minutes you've been here, man, you've been such a champ, and I hope the podcast and I have done you well here. because congratulations, you just been through the worst interview of your life that you're ever going to have.
Whatever, dude. That was fun.
So man, 30 seconds here. Go ahead
Yep.
and promote anything and everything you want.
Cool. You got to come see Kendall Hunt and the Shooters, our show. That's what I want to promote. I think, of course, you can stream whatever you want. I'd love for you to stream our music. There's going to be a lot more coming out, but checking our Facebook page out. It's all Kendall Hunt and the Shooters, and trying to catch a show. I think that's the funnest part of music for me, is trying to melt people's faces. That's what I want to sell.
Well, look on Kendall and the Shooters. They should be coming to a town near you. I know if they come close to Mississippi, I'm gonna grab me a ticket and come see you guys. So
you tell me the venue, and I'll make it happen. But...
All right, Kendall. Look, brother, I really do appreciate you, dude. I'll get with Dawn and whoever else, and we'll get you back on when you guys got a new song or a new album out. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, let's do it. Yep, absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right, Kendall. Yep, brother. Have a good one, dude.